Hi, it's Terry at Paint a Garden Farm, where I paint and I grow things. Who wants to learn how to prune tomatoes? I do. Let's go learn how to do it old school outside. Okay, so when you prune tomatoes, what you basically want to do is remove what's called the suckers and any foliage that's hitting the ground, because it's not going to do any good anyway. So I've mostly pruned all my tomatoes, but I do have some spots where I can show you where they need pruning. So on this particular plant right in front of me, in fact. So when you have your tomato, you have your main stem, you have your branches, and then between the main stem and the branch is like a little armpit. And what grows out of there is the sucker. So you want to get rid of that. You also want to get any little branches that are way down below, because they're going to just trail on the ground and get diseased from the soil. So there's another little sucker I found. So anyway, yeah, if the branches are trailing on the ground, if the foliage is trailing on the ground, or you get splashback when you water, most tomato diseases come from the soil. So you want to avoid contact between the foliage and the dirt. So the soil might be healthy for growing things, but it is not going to be healthy for splashing all over your tomato plants. So that being said, let's see if we can find another one that I can illustrate on. Okay. So this tomato, it has some foliage that's way down at the bottom, and it's not looking very healthy anyway. That's another thing you want to do when you're pruning. And I'm just pinching these off because they're little bitty branches, so I'm just pinching them off. But pruning shears are an option. Now, is it a law that you have to prune your tomatoes? Is it a law that you have to take out all the suckers? No. I suggest you experiment and put a tomato somewhere in a pot or something by itself, and just let it go wild, because let's face it, tomatoes were growing for years and years and decades and centuries on their own, wild, before people started messing with them, and they survived and reseeded themselves and everything else. So that is, the only reason to do it is to promote air circulation. That was promote air circulation between the branches so that they don't stay wet and soggy, and also to encourage them to keep growing. You also, another quick bonus lesson is you want to know the difference between determinate and indeterminate tomatoes. Determinate tomatoes, well, the plant is predestined to only grow so far and produce so many tomatoes. Indeterminate, as long as you feed and water them and give them support and care, they will keep growing and vining and making more tomatoes. I mostly have indeterminates, except for my, I think my orange queens are determinate. Here's one last shot of the sucker. So main branch, bottom branch, and the armpit is a sucker. You know what? I'm going to take the bottom branch too. So this is actually a sucker, and this is a bottom branch. I'm going to leave the sucker alone because it's growing up, and take the branch off. And this branch doesn't want to come off. And you can just throw these in your compost, unless they're diseased looking. So that, my friends, is how to prune tomatoes 101. Yeah, I can talk. How to prune tomatoes 101. Pruning tomatoes 101. Have a great day. Enjoy your tomatoes. Thanks for watching Prune Tomatoes 101. I'll leave my bloopers in there so you have something to laugh at. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.